Right. So I have a SNMP exporter service that's running in the background, and it is running on localhost 9116. And as you can see here, I have localhost 9116, and it's, let's say, if the target is 192.168.100.2, which is the IP address of R1, as you can see here. If I click on submit, it'll tell me all of the SNMP targets that were there. Like for example, if admin status for Ethernet 1, it's 1, which basically means Ethernet 1 is administratively up. If it's 2, it's down, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of MEBs here. So this SNMP exporter is converted into Prometheus. I also have a systemd service for Prometheus, as you can see here, and it runs on port 9090. And there is an example query that I just ran here, was if opera status, and it just says for H1 Ethernet 1 the value is 1, which basically means on host 1 Ethernet 1 is up. So it is picking up from 9116. And how do I know that? It's through this file, which is prometheus.yaml file. I have a job name called SNMP, and it scrapes every 1 second. All of these are the target hosts, and the metrics path is /SNMP, and these are some parameters that I have here. And here, as you can see, replacement localhost 9116, which basically means that pick up all the values from SNMP exporter, which is running on 9116, and display it in Prometheus. So that's about Prometheus and SNMP exporter. I'll now quickly talk about how I'm visualizing this in Grafana. I have two data sources here. I go to data sources. I have two data sources, InfluxDB and Prometheus, which is running on localhost 8086 and localhost 9090 for Prometheus. If I open dashboards, okay, quickly, I also have a systemctl service for Grafana, which is running on port 3000, as you can see here. And I have this dashboard called device statistics, and I have 3 rows. The first one is system, and it talks about I have device status and CPU load. So this device status is getting picked up from Prometheus. As you can see here, I have Prometheus as my data source, and it's just searching for metric up. And if the value is 1, it's up, else it's down. That's how I'm checking. CPU load, this is being picked up from InfluxDB. I have this query that I generated from InfluxDB, and it just talks in percentage. Before I move on to interface statistics, I wanted to point out something. I have two queries here, IP and hostname, which you can filter out for the entire dashboard. You can choose any IP from this list or any hostname from this list, and it will filter the entire dashboard to show you that particular thing. Like for example, if I go to R2, it'll tell me the CPU load for R2, and let's say S1, it'll tell me for S1, and so on and so forth. All right, moving on to interface statistics. This is how the interface stats look for R1. For example, all the interfaces are up on R1, like let's say VLAN 10. Let me shut the interface, and maybe change the MTO for VLAN 10 to 9214, and maybe change the speed of Ethernet 1 to 25 gigs. Let's see if it changes here. Yep. Let's see if VLAN 10 is down. It is down. And the MTU is set to 9214. Okay, before it gets updated, I'll quickly talk about how this dashboard looks like. So there is interface status, interface speed, and MTU. Um, all of these are picked up from Prometheus. As you can see here, I have Prometheus, and this is interface speed as also Prometheus, and MTO is also Prometheus. Right. So all of these are picked up from Prometheus and basically SNMP. And as you can see, VLAN 10 went down and the interface speed changed to 25 gig on Ethernet 1, and MTU for VLAN 10 is 9214. And that's how it's monitoring almost real time for the devices. The last panel that I want to talk about is traffic. Um, the first two are picked up from InfluxDB. As you can see here, it's picked up from InfluxDB, and this is also InfluxDB. So I've generated this query from InfluxDB. It gives me how to generate it. And as you can see, at 1429 on Ethernet 1, there was 290 MB traffic, and you can see for each of these interfaces here. In this case, I also have in discards and out discards, which is 0 currently because there were no discards on any of the interfaces. But this particular thing is picked up from SNMP or Prometheus. And yeah, that's all the dashboards that I have on Grafana, and that's how I'm visualizing it.